everyone, and welcome back to Alpine Intel's The Savvy Adjuster podcast and this mini episode. I'm your host, Senior Account Manager Chris Nichols, and joining me again are Curtis Whitfill, who is Vice President of SIU Compliance and CE Programs at VRC Investigations, and Brennan Clark, a Forensic Engineer at Component Testing Laboratories. Gentlemen, welcome back.
Hey, glad to be here.
So Alpine Intel, obviously dedicated to innovation across the property, auto, liability, and workers' comp insurance fields, helping our customers reach peak performance throughout the policy lifecycle. And because we handle so many different types of services and partner with so many different insurance professionals, we'll be speaking in general terms today, as obviously each claim is unique and requires special consideration. In the main episode about our services, we talked about how evidence can be used when deciding how to settle a claim, but what happens if that incident winds up in litigation? Curtis, let's start with you. Can you share a little bit about your experience in regards to what happens when evidence provided by VRC Investigations ends up in litigation?
All right, thanks, Chris. So essentially, this is what every SIU investigator should be thinking about when they're doing their work. Every moment that they're doing something, every interview, every piece of evidence that they touch, they have to think, this could wind up in court someday. The reports that I write, the questions that I ask, the manner in which I write them and say them could all be scrutinized by an attorney who basically is working on behalf of an insured or claimant who might, be under investigation for potential fraud, and their goal is to get them off of that particular fraud or defend them. So you have to think about that. Evidence is going to become discoverable. Everything that you collect, the reports that we write are going to be deposed and subpoenaed and gone over with a fine-tooth comb. And if you've made any mistakes or any errors, it's best to go ahead and identify them before it winds up in court and then somebody else is going to find them. So, during an investigation, especially a lengthy, complicated investigation, things will come up and you just need to be able to explain them in your reports. But thinking about really important stuff is chain of custody, for things like the video that you gather, the physical evidence or the EDR downloads. Whatever you get, how you handle that is really critical. How the reports were written, like I said earlier, the tone, making sure that you put factual information in there, that you're not sending, notes to the adjuster, saying this is a really bad guy and we really need to do this. I've seen stuff like that. And that has no place in communications, between professionals that are doing their job professionally. And it will come out in litigation. And then the preservation of any raw data. So you're going to show maybe clips of stuff that we get video, but you preserve the original data if somebody wants to see that. So you may have, an hour long worth of video that had nothing to do with your case, but you preserve it all, even though you've clipped out and shown the part, to the adjuster that's relevant. You still retain the original pieces. So timelines, consistency, making sure that we have a clear timeline established, written, what led you to the investigation. The adjuster has to document why they got, SIU involved. All that stuff becomes important later. And unless you've been through one of these cases like this, you may not, realize how important all that stuff is.
Sure. And Brennan, virtually the same question for you. I'd love to hear about your experience when it comes to evidence from component testing laboratories potentially ending up being used in litigation.
Yeah, so one thing we kind of pride ourselves on at Domain Component Testing Lab is we treat every project that comes in the door as if it's going to go to litigation. So we keep a thorough and consistent process throughout. As far as our data collection on the EDR side, infotainment side, 3D scanning side, one thing we make sure is that all of our technicians out in the field who are collecting data for us have been trained and certified in how to properly obtain that data. We use all Donan employees, so it's a single chain of custody throughout the whole process. We document with photographs. Also, we do GPS check-ins on site of where we are when we're doing the download, just to make sure that there's no question of from the time our technician arrived on site, plugged their device into your car to download the data off of it, that they're following all the proper steps to show, hey, we did not change, alter anything on this vehicle. We're simply capturing kind of a snapshot of what's in time of what the state of that vehicle is. We maintain that information, store it securely in our claim files so that everything we do is repeatable. We can go back and reassess the information down the line should it come up. And like you said, with litigation, it may be a year, 2 years down the line before you, from the time you went out to do your initial um, uh, investigation on a vehicle, is that during the opening part of a claim that, hey, now that we want to come back, we want to investigate this and need to go to court on it. We have professional engineers that review all the data sets for our that we get out of vehicles. We're able to issue full written analysis reports signed and stamped with the opinion of an engineer that can be used as a product kind of as you get to litigate or before litigation or during it to kind of set or act as the opinion of an expert witness. Our engineers on the CDR side are experienced with depositions and are have been named as expert witnesses for litigation purposes. So we're very comfortable with the process of how we get and maintain the information we collect and how we're able to account for it along the entire chain.
Sure. Well, it sounds like from hearing from the both of you that both of the businesses that you're with have best practices in place. Curtis, you mentioned it, to treat every claim as if it were to go through litigation, even if it never sees that. At least you are prepared in it, and it sounds like a good reminder for adjusters as well to treat your claims as such. Play chess, not checkers, right? And think 2-3 steps ahead down the road as to what potentially could happen. But no, great information, and appreciate you both for joining again on this mini episode and sharing, obviously, your vast expertise today. And listeners, don't forget to check out the show notes and subscribe to the Savvy Adjuster podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss out on any valuable insights from Alpine Intel's experts. And make sure to check out our resource library at alpineintel.com. Again, thanks for listening today, and we'll see you next time.